Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to quickly introduce the concept of indices today, and I'll just do a quick overview. In this series, we're going to talk about we'll talk about the 12 laws of indices, we'll talk about simplifying, okay? And I want to just quickly introduce the concept. So when we talk about an index number, basically it's any number which is raised to a power, all right? So just for those I'll be writing, so an index number, okay, it's a number raised, we can say which is raised to a power. Okay, so that's an index number. So for instance, if you have a raised to power n, okay, so the a is called a base, all right? And the n is called a power. So it depends. Some textbook we call it exponent, some we call it index. So it depends what you have. So you can check some textbook that will say it is a raised to the power, okay, which is the base raised to the power. Some textbook we call it like a raised to an index. Some we call it the base raised to an exponent. So depending what you have, it determines the name. So for this one, it is, let's just say power, all right? Like I said, some textbook we call it an index, some we call it an exponent, all right? So for example, you can see something like 3 raised to power 5. So 3 is the base, 5 is the power. Now, like I said, the power is also known as the index. So it tells you how many times you have to multiply the number or the base itself, okay? For those that are writing, I'm going to write it down so you can take note of it. So we've said the power, all right? Also known as the index, okay? Tells you how many times you have to multiply the number or the base itself, okay? So for instance, like that example that I said, 3 raised to power 5, you can say that means you have to multiply this base by itself 5 times. Is that okay? So that means this is going to give us 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that means you have to multiply 3 by itself 5 times. So you have to multiply 3, okay, which is the base, by itself 5 times. All right, so that is how you interpret it. Okay, now for this video, we're going to talk about two things majorly. I'm going to introduce the 12 laws of indices. Okay, I'll talk about the 12 laws of indices. And after introducing that, the next thing I'm going to talk about, how do you simplify or you solve indices. So I'll talk about how do you simplify or what you solve questions relating to indices, okay? So this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to first start with the 12 laws of indices. After that, I'm going to talk about how do you simplify indices, okay? Thank you very much. So like what I just said, I just introduced the concept here about indices. So I just talked about an index number is the power, that is the number or the base which is raised to. And the power of also known as the index, also tells you how many times you have to multiply a particular number. Okay, so if for instance you have something like 2 raised to the power 4, it means that you have to multiply 2 4 times. All right. Then I'm going to talk about how do you then use this index, for instance. For instance, if you have 2 raised to the power 4 times 2 raised to the power 3, what do you do? If you have 2 raised to the power 4 divided by 2 raised to the power 3, what do you do? Okay, if you have 2 raised to the power minus 4, what do you do? So we're going to talk about all these laws separately. So I'll advise you, as usual, please try as much as possible to subscribe. So when I upload new videos, you'll be the first person to know. All right. That is that for that. If you have any question, feel free to drop me a comment, okay? And I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Or you can send me an email and I'll respond to you as well. So I'm going to see you in the next video where we're going to talk about the 12 laws of indices.